Well, grace and peace, everyone. Grace and peace on this 4th of July. And I pray that all is well. Everyone is doing well. And you're celebrating the way you want to celebrate. But most of all, let's celebrate God for the opportunity to be here on this earth, filling your space, whatever you're supposed to be doing in your space that God has given you with the breath in your body. That's what we want you to do. We want you to celebrate that. Well, I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated. And we have the great opportunity, the privilege, and the God assignment to render hope and encouragement to you, our people, God's people across the country. And we're so grateful to God for the opportunity to do that. Well, you are, or you, shall I say, you have joined us in the segment of First Partaker of Purpose, my why I do what I do. And it's only because of God's grace and his goodness and his mercy and his peace, all of that. But that's my why. And today I have a beautiful guest with me on today in the person of Miss Kisha France, who's going to join us. Let me just greet her. Hi, Kisha.
Hi.
I am so happy to have you with us on today. We're going to get to you in just a moment, but I wanted to invite our guests to come and join us by way of our YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel to help us spread this word, this message of hope and encouragement, and the message of why you do what you do with the First Partaker of Purpose. And you will help Kisha and I spread this message across the country. And we're so grateful to have the opportunity to do that. We're his instruments. That's one of our whys. We do this because we love God and we are his instruments. So don't forget, go to our YouTube channel to subscribe, like, share, comment, whatever you have to do and you feel necessary to get this message out to the public. Well, again, I just want to say welcome to the platform for Trophy of Life Incorporated, Kisha. And today, our topic, we're going to speak with her regarding hospitality and the gift of helps and all that she loves to do for the public, for people, and the fulfillment that she gets out of it. And I know a lot of times people don't always like to talk about themselves, but I'm putting you right there in front and center. I want you to talk about what you do. I know you're a family person, you love children, you love to support all different kinds of ways, but we want to get some more information about who you are and what you do. And we're going to dive into the conversation momentarily. You have the platform, Kisha.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Kisha France, and I am here to discuss on who is Kisha France. Kisha France, first of all, is a child of God. I'm a person who, and I'm a firstborn of 6 siblings, and I'm ambitious. I'm independent. What else can I say? I love to work. I work hard, but I work smart. I'm a people person. I'm caring. I'm loving. I'm a graduate. Oh,
Yes.
I'm a mother of a son. Yes, I love my son. I'm just a person that loves people. I'm an honest person. I'm a giving person. I give my all, and resourceful. I could go on and on and on, but
Well, what is your educational background? I know you told me something about a degree that you have. What was that again?
My educational background is human services administration. I got my bachelor's degree in that. I also had my license in cosmetology, and I just received my BLS, basic life savings instructor license, so I can help people with CPR and first aid and newborn pathogen.
Wow. You find fulfillment in that?
Yes, I do. Well, our goal as Christians is to save someone, and not necessarily. Well, I guess you can look at it in a spiritual way, giving them CPR, giving them life, or making them feel like it's a reason to be here, you know, live again, or give them a breath of fresh air. Have you ever met someone and they gave you a hug and they say, wow, I needed that, or gave them a smile or spoke, I needed that. Something so simple could be life changing.
That's a good statement right there. Something so simple as a smile. In this world today, it is so given to me, myself, and I. It is not, let's say, it is not caring. People don't care about others, let alone care about themselves, let alone care about others. So how do you find it, without even speaking to someone verbally, how do you find it fulfilling in what you do in supporting other people? How do you find that fulfilling? And I know it's a gift from God. I know it's a gift from God.
You say without talking to them?
Without actually talking to them, because you can do it verbally and you can do it by just your appearance.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a question. How can I do it without speaking? I'm not sure because, well, for instance, the other day I was at the gas station and the young gentleman was in the car. He actually got out of his car and said, Dad, you the way you look is so breathtaking. And I say, oh, but I was pumping gas. I guess your presence alone, I guess people could pick up your energy. You
Absolutely.
know, energy is everything. Energy can change anything just by you stepping in the room. Your energy, you don't even have to open your mouth. Your energy will draw people to you, and then once you start, conversing with each other, it's like, wow, oh, okay.
And
Then
that's what I'm saying.
Then they get to know, you as a person, as a whole.
And that's how we can, I believe, minister without saying actually the word or the name of Jesus, because his glory is upon us. So
right.
we've made ourselves instruments and vessels of him. So even when we don't have the opportunity to open our mouths and verbally speak to an individual, his presence, his glory, the oil of God rests upon us. And that's what made that's what makes that's what made the guy come out of his car to actually acknowledge who you were, or shall I say, the beauty that rests on you. And it was really the energy, God's energy on you. And that's when I find so many times that, and maybe you do as well, Kisha, that people walk around with a lot of frowns on their face.
They do. And you know what? Working at the funeral home, we had to fix that because they have a permanent crease right here. And people don't understand that, it takes more energy to frown than smile. So I'd rather because
that is a blessing.
You just never know. I had this, well, I always have a story behind something that I say, but
tell it.
Years ago, I was working part-time at Walmart for 2 long months and then I quit.
Okay.
So I was working at Walmart and the man head was down. And I said, you know what? I said, you look like you have a lot on your shoulders and you look up. That's where your help comes from. I say, all your help comes from God up here, your higher being, whoever you call them. That's where all your help comes from. You need to look up. I say, everything will be okay. And I told him, it's a saying at the funeral home where we say any day is a good day to be above ground. And so I said that to him, and he left out and he gave the greeter a card to give to me. And in the card was $100. And on the card, he said, "Thank you for saying that because I was contemplating suicide." So you just never know who's going through what, because the outer appearance, that's just a facade, and you just never know who's going through what. That's why, the late Bishop Evans used to always say, it doesn't hurt to be nice. It doesn't hurt.
Really doesn't. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
There are some areas we have to actually learn to be hospitable, to actually care. And actually, let's start here with self. Have you ever had the experience where you didn't like yourself? I don't know. Some people have. Yeah. That's real. And it takes someone that had been in the shoes of the person who's experienced that to really deeply and honestly and transparently minister, or shall I say, just share with someone else who may have been in that same situation.
You are so correct. And in my field, in human services administration, that is the main goal in that field, is to step out of your shoes and step into someone else's shoes to understand why the person is doing what they're doing. And for instance, I had a substance abuse class. And at first I used to look at addicts a different way. Now I look at them totally different, because we had this 4-week project and I chose to stop drinking coffee every day. The first week I relapsed because my head was hurting, my heart was racing, I started shaking. And I told my mom, I say, I want you to call me in the morning to make sure I'm good. I was scared to go to sleep. And so now I understand how an addict feels when they relapse, because I didn't even make it a week. But then we had to substitute it with something healthy, and I chose lemon water. We had to choose something healthy to help us get through that 4-week process. And it's a process because the only way you could get through it is if you had the will, and you have to have will to get through it. You can't do nothing for nobody else. You have to have the will to get through whatever situation you're getting through.
You have to have the will. And I don't know whether it's because I'm getting older or what, but it's like some things just kind of irk me the wrong way. And that is when you speak to individuals, and I'm not putting the church on blast, but just let's just say individuals who, when someone who has an issue, a problem, a habit, or something like that, in a negative sense, comes to speak to you or speak to us, and we act like we've never done anything like that, or we're to do anything like that, or to think anything like that. But when you're able to say, I've been through that, God brought me through, or my willpower, the choice that God gave me to be strong, choose life, to do the positive, to be who he's called me to be, I will to do that. It is my desire to do that. And it's not necessarily always a 12-step or pray about it. There's some other things you have to incorporate to make sure these things are done. But when you can speak to it out of experience, you care for yourself.
To do that.
Say it again.
I say it hits different when you have the experience. That's why most jobs, when they hire you, they do hire you on your degree, but the majority of the time they hire you on your experience, because you're able to relate. And that's the thing. We have to be able to relate to people in the spiritual world, and also in human services administration. they always say, you know, don't be judgmental, even though we are, you know, because everybody is struggling with something. Everybody. And all of us might have different struggles, but, you know, sometimes people could help get through their struggle if you're willing to understand, if you're willing to listen, if you're willing to just be there to support. A lot of times people don't need you to comment. People don't need a cosigner. They just want you to listen. They just want to be heard. You know, they just want to be heard. And once you have heard them and you don't respond, or if they want you to respond, then that's something different. But a lot of times that could save a lot of people is having a heart. And the only way to do that, you have to have a heart for people, like God had a heart for his people. You have to have a heart for people. So, you know, to help them get through what they're getting through. And that's what we are here for. Our lives is not just for us, but it's for us to help other people get through it, get through whatever they're going through.
Definitely so. And again, all of this conversation goes right back to caring,
right,
and having the heart of God, having a heart of love. And that's one of the main attributes of God, and that is love. I don't care who it is. And then there are times when we have to actually love some of the folk that don't love us.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Jesus, help me. I'm still a work in progress, but I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
And I say to God be the glory, because they're in the flesh wants to snap back, clap back. But God, the love of God says, okay, they must be experiencing something. Something must be going on in their lives. And usually, just like you said, they want to be heard. They want you to listen. And there are times when you don't have to actually say anything. Just be there. Be in your energy, like we were talking earlier.
Right.
Your energy, because you care, you can see it on your face. You can see it. You can hear it in your voice that you're actually in the moment. You're in the moment. When I'm talking to you or whoever has a problem, my mind is not on the beach. My mind is not on what I left on the stove. My mind is not on what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm in the moment because I care.
Right.
I'm in the moment listening to you. Somewhere whether it's in the home, in the school, in the community, on the job, people just don't want to listen.
Right, they don't.
They don't want to listen. They want to go on with their own day, It's like, don't you know, I'm busy. I have things to do. But when you really care, yeah, it's amazing how you can change a situation.
Right, because it'll always be your turn when you want somebody to listen to you. It will always be a time when you want someone to listen and you want someone to understand, you know, how you feel or how you see things. And the majority of the time, you know, how a person go about their life always stems from their childhood. That's where a lot of situations happens. It stems from the childhood. So a lot of times the childhood affects the adulthood, whether you go in one direction or you choose to take the opposite. You know, our childhood always affects our adulthood.
And if we don't get it straight,
right,
well, as a child, it's going to pass on to your teenage years, to young adult, to an adult. And then we continue to pass it on to the next generation, which is not good, not good.
Yeah.
The world that we...
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, this is you. This is about Kisha France. No, you.
Yeah. So as you were saying, you know, the world we live in should be lovable. One thing I do dislike to hear from outsiders of the church is to say church folk are mean. You know, and when you come to church, you should feel all the love. that you need to feel, that you don't feel from the outside, you know. And for instance, I was talking to a guy today, and he said, I don't go to church anymore because you know, they are hypocrites, and growing up in the church, I saw this, I saw that. And I say, well, this is the same thing they do in the street. And he say, so I just go to work, you know, and get my check. I say, well, that's how you should do church. You go to church. I say church is really a hospital. You come to church, you get healed, and it's a smorgasbord. You could get something from singing. You could get something from the prayer. You could get something from the music. I say you could get something from the preaching. You have all of these things you could get something from. And I say you get what you need. You eat what you need to eat, and then you throw the bone away and you just leave. I say the same way you go to work, the same thing that goes on in church goes on at work. So besides the spiritual, you know, the spiritual.
Oh yeah, I got you.
I say the same thing that you go to church. I mean, you go to work just to get your check. You can go to church just to get a word. I say, because even though you say you don't go to church anymore, and I say, I'm not going against what you're saying. I say, but you can go to church. You never know who God might send for you to give you a hug, a prayer, a word of encouragement. You know, you just never know. And it could be something you really needed, or you didn't know that you needed, but you was fulfilled from, you know, what God sent the person to do. What God has sent, whatever God assigned the person to do. I say, you could be blessed from that. And I say, you know, it might take you some time because of what you've seen in the church. But like I say, you just got to go there. And I grew up in the church. So you just got to go there and get what you need and leave. That's just how I look at it.
It's amazing. On Sundays, well, of course, you know, technology allows us to do Zoom and Bible study during the week, and so many things on the internet. But even going to church, especially on Sundays, so many people come with so many issues. I say sometimes it's almost like sweeping the floor, all the debris that's on the floor and the trash and the good, the bad, and the indifferent, all of that comes together. And when you're on assignment, when you're on assignment, you are able to, if that person comes to church who's been hurt, who needs some type of deliverance, I don't even in the bathroom, if you're on assignment, God would allow you to minister to that person without saying, Jesus wants you to do this. And I mean, being so dogmatic about it.
Right.
Just show the love of God. And that you watch it, just the evil, the meanness, the hurt, the heartache, it will begin to just melt down. Because it's all about God. It's not about us. It's all about God and the gift that rests on you. If you have some people have a gift of hugs. They don't even sound.
Got that gift.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I say the mothers of the church have that gift. Lord Jesus, you be.
And some people have the gift of ushering.
Right.
I mean, because the smile on or greeting, the smile on their face, the way they interact with the people when they first come to the door, which is an important thing. And then there are some people who have the gift of even just giving someone a mint.
Right.
Giving someone a tissue. All of this is with caring and how we do it, not just what we do. It's a combination of how and what we do. Giving someone a tissue, it's the caring, the love of God and how we do it. Have you had the opportunity to actually minister, not just in the church? Because really, when you think about it, everybody try to be on their the best behavior when they're in church. So I'm talking about when we're out in the street, when we're out in the mall, and sometimes when we're in our home. How can we share that or give us example that you may have experienced, whether it's in the street or wherever you are, of caring and being hospitable?
Well, I minister to people all the time. I think I don't know. I could just strike up a conversation with anybody, or someone could start talking to me. So and I always try. I was talking to one lady the other day. She said, "You like my girlfriend. She say, I'll say something negative and you will just say something positive." I say, because I say, we want to change your mindset. I say, sometimes when I talk and I feel as though I'm about to say something negative, I had to pause before it comes out. Because I tell people all the time, this little muscle in your mouth is the most powerful thing on your body. And your words are so powerful. Certain things I just stopped saying, and I say, I reverse what I'm saying. For example, you will never hear me say I'm broke. Never.
How about that?
It's just certain things I don't say. I just don't even speak that into the universe. I have something different to say about it. But I just try to have people to change their mindset. And one thing I have learned, your mind is very powerful, and you could do whatever you put your mind to do. Whatever you put your mind to do. And for example, I always said I couldn't take more than 3 classes. And
More than 3 classes.
This last semester I took 5, and I aced all of them. And it's like, once you put it in the air, that's what your mind is gonna believe. So, I've learned to just watch what I say. I say, boy, I could have been graduated. But in all of that, it's all about God's timing as well. So, I try to tell people, timing is everything. People could drag their feet, but things that happen, things will happen in God's on time.
God's own time.
It will happen in his time, because he already had everything planned for us before we was even created.
Absolutely.
So I try not to rush things, and as the Bible say, be anxious for nothing.
But
And
nothing.
I just have to tell myself, pace yourself. It's God's timing. Because sometimes Bishop Pender used to say, don't pray me out of my situation too soon. Because I might not be ready for what I'm asking for. Yeah, so just let me go on through the process, and then I get it when it's my time.
We learn so much when we actually go through it. My Archbishop Ralph Dennis always says, for every going through, there is a coming out. Right. So, recognize that even in your going through and the in-between part, many lessons can be learned. Many lessons can be learned. Right. And we gain power from those lessons. So let me go through it. I mean, I might cry a little bit, but I'm definitely going to praise God, whether I want to or not. I'm definitely going to praise God through it, but all at the same time. And it's because he cares for us. He cares for us, and we definitely have to care for others. Let's tap in real quickly on mental health. Why would it be, not why, let's see. What is your experience in caring or being hospitable to those who have mental health issues? Have you ever had an experience with that?
Oh, yes, I work with autism and special needs children for 8.5 years.
Let's talk a little bit about
it. I understand it takes a lot of patience. You can't get, because the child is not like you, and the child has more challenges. You have to be very patient, and you can't do things in a hurry, because it'll trigger them into a behavior issue. But And they very, autism children are very sweet people. They very strong people, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of patience, and you have to care. And they know your energy too.
Oh yeah.
They absolutely know your energy. I remember working at Harper Heights Elementary School off of Broadway and North Avenue. If I did not come to school, because that young man had to get a hug from me every day, and he wasn't even in my class, but he had to get a hug from me every day, and they would hate if I took off because his day wouldn't be right. But yes, they are beautiful children. It takes a lot of work, but they are beautiful children, and you just gotta have patience. If you don't have patience, you wouldn't be able to. You
Have
wouldn't
you
be kind of work.
have you had an experience with any adult mental health issues?
Have I?
Yes, come on, let's talk. This right here, this segment right here is like we go from A to Z, the nitty and the gritty.
Sometimes you don't understand how people think, and like I said, everybody thinks different. Just because you and I don't think the same, it doesn't mean that you and I are wrong. So, and it's this word, I think it was called, was it called sauna? I think that's the word. I'm not, I don't know. I think that's the word. But if you and I are having a conversation and you saying something that I don't agree with, you at that time, you are right. Later on, you might say, oh, I was wrong. But at that time, how you feel, you're right. A situation can happen, and for instance, somebody, God forbid, somebody could get robbed, and that person killed that person. At that time, that person was right. He felt as though he was right with what he did. Mm-hmm. Even though the judge might have said, oh, you was wrong. And he could say, oh, but this was self-defense, but I try not to, and when you look at a person and you two are going back and forth, it'll cause you to not have that back and forth argument, because the school have taught me, however a person feel at that time, they're right. So you just say, okay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's it moving, rather than we don't engage into an argument. That's right. Not even necessary. That's right. Not even necessary.
You just say, okay, because if I become a therapist, I can't go back and forth with my client. I just have to say, okay, well, that's how you feel.
That's how you feel. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some people are looking for validation.
But you know what? I was talking about validation to someone today. Everybody, and I had this in this class, it was called perception. Everybody wants to be validated. And we had to take this personality test. So on a lot of people's personality, it had validation on there. And so we all looked at validation as a negative thing. And the teacher was saying, y'all looking at it as a negative thing, but it's not. Because if I gave you something and you didn't tell me thank you, I'm going to feel a certain type of way. She say that's validation. If your husband tell you he loves you, if you told your husband you loved him and he didn't say I love you back, you're going to get an attitude. That's a sense of validation. Mm-hmm. If I sneeze and somebody don't say bless you and I know they got some home training, that's a form of validation.
That's almost being petty.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody yes. wants to be validated.
Yes. Yes.
It's not that, oh, I don't need you to congratulate me, or I don't need you to tell me nothing, blah, 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 or I don't need you to pat me on the back. I can pat myself. No, it's not just that. It's certain other areas that body needs to feel validated.
It's amazing though, just to take that those statements that you just made and switch it, or shall I say shift it, something as simple as going into a door because someone cares and the upbringing that they've had. Hold the door for someone, and you don't hold the door for me. You know, it's not that I don't need you to validate me. That's completely different. But I mean, you knew I was right behind you.
Right.
But just the fact of caring, you know, nowadays we really do have to take the light off of ourselves and learn how to interact with individuals. We really have to go back to, or shall I say, step our game up in sharing in how we care for people because of this social distancing.
Right.
And I mean, it's like now, number one, if you're not wearing a mask and I don't know you, and you know you're not necessarily in my sphere of influence, and don't be in my space.
Right.
But you know, but still, I can wave to you, or you know, send you some love over there.
Right.
But just letting people know, letting people know that you care for them. That is really our topic for today, in the sense of the love of God, showing the love of God. How do we do that, even in our giftings, in our everyday living, in what we do, in our professions, all of that? How do we show people that we care? Because this world right now is in, it's a mess. It's a mess, but God is, we always say, God is still in control, and he is in control through living through us.
Right.
Living through us.
Well,
and when we,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I had, I did daycare for 12 and a half years, and you have to show love because, you know, kids could feel that. They could feel if you don't like them. You know, you have to show love. You have to show understanding. You know, you have to show patience. And like they say, love is patient, love is kind. You have to apply all of that to people. I did foster care for 7 years as well. You definitely have to show love to them because those kids have been through a lot. And a lot of families have mistreated them. So when they come into your home, the first thing they think, oh, you just going in for the check. But then once they realize you're not in it for the check, oh, Miss Kisha, you different from the other parents. Oh, we sit at the table as a family and have dinner, and you ask me how my day was, or what could I do differently. Something I used to do that when I started UB, my teacher would do. She would ask us, what was the highlight of your day? Whether it was good or bad. What was the highlight of your day? So if it was bad, she would ask us, what would we do differently if that situation came up again? Or did we feel like we made the right decision, or we reacted in a certain way in that situation? And I thought that was very, very helpful because I do that with my son. What was your highlight of today? Oh, well,
again, just knowing that you're listening and you care.
Right. So I used to do that with them, not even knowing. I mean, I was just doing it. I didn't know. And then when I saw my teacher was doing it, I said, oh wow, you know, what is the highlight? Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna throw out a few scenarios, and we're gonna kind of like I'm like, oh, we've been on 40 minutes already. I'm gonna throw out a few scenarios, and I want you to let the audience know how you would, in one statement or two statements, how you would respond to the particular scenario that I'm going to throw out at you with caring or being hospitable.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're in this, what you already shared about with the children, and showing that if you listen and they know that you care, that's good. What about a homeless person? How do you share that? Share your care and hospitality.
Oh, well, with homeless people, I either give them some money or purchase them some food, hospitality.
Okay, what about a husband and wife who are having marital issues?
Caring.
How so?
Um, well, with daycare, with running a daycare, you hear the both parents' side. But I can't say, oh, your husband told me this, your wife told me that, because that'll mess with your money. But you just be a listening ear. And if they ask, what should I do? You just give them advice and ask them, do they need to seek counsel? Because I don't want it. Sometimes when you tell people how you feel, and then they go on with your opinion, and you're not a licensed therapist.
That's right. You're in hot water.
Wrong. Well, you told me this, but that's what I would do. You should just pray about it, seek counsel, and have you went to your bishop about it? Have y'all talked to each other?
Definitely talk to each other. Again, I am not into the church bashing. Definitely talk to each other, because now you cannot trust everyone.
Right.
It would be ideal if we could trust every pastor, every bishop, every elder, every deacon, every whoever. So definitely make sure we hear from God. What about a situation with a co-worker who's having issues on the job?
Well, that's caring as well, because I would just talk to them and have them to go and talk to the boss. If they have no problem with their coworker, then and they had the conversation with the coworker already, and it's still not going the way that they wanted to go in their favor, then I would just talk to the boss, or just ignore the coworker.
And then
it's plenty of work, and people got on my nerves, and I just I speak. I don't gotta have now. I am nice. I'll speak, but I don't have to have a conversation with you. I do my job and go home. But that's how I would handle that situation.
And then I think also it would help if we find out if the individual who's having a problem with the other person, to make sure they don't have issues, because it's not always the other person. So I think, but the number one, like you said, listen to them, give them advice what you can, but not necessarily the advice that would cause it to backfire on you. But give them, check out the avenues and the different areas of where that information is actually coming from, or those feelings or those issues or whatever is coming from, and then we move on. So let me say there's hospitality. Last but not least, it's so many things that you can share as far as hospitality in the house of God, the actual physical building of the brick and mortar, rather, of the house of God. You have the ministry of helps, the greeters, the ushers, actually the hospitality. The one at our church, one of our churches, is where we have the person on the side. I call him the mint person and the water person, the tissue person, but they're caring. They're caring. And it's amazing. We're a team. The church is actually a team. And when people feel that you care, they'll be back and back again.
So. And all people want to do, they want to feel like they care. They're not coming to church to get bashed. They're not coming to church, you going to hell, you going to hell. I mean, you know, you need to tell them that, but you don't get it right, that's where you're going.
But some gasoline draws. That's what they was.
Right, but 6 days out the week, and you got that one Sunday that you took your time to go to church. You just want to feel love, because we don't know what people going through all week. We don't know. So when we go to church, we don't want to hear the bashing and the, not feeling wanted, not feeling loved, because people are running away from something to come to church to receive God's love. That's what
Receive.
I'm coming for.
And I love it because now, yeah, we want people to come to church. We want that. But the church, don't forget, we already know that we are the church, and we have that love, and we have God's love and caring, and we're hospitable. But meet me on the beach. We can have service on the beach. Meet me in the park. We even have service there. It is not that we always have to go to the church building, but let's have some spiritual gatherings in my backyard, in my home. Like I said, in the park, on the beach, on a cruise, on the golf course. That's what I love, when we can take God's love everywhere. So
well, that's the reason why I have my ministry, as far as making videos to draw the outside. My ministry is not necessarily in the church. I like to draw people to the church. It's a different type of thing. I guess you could call it outreach.
We'll talk about that. What is your ministry? You said my ministry.
Well,
give us some information.
Media. So before, years ago, I used to record. I started recording the services at Bethel Temple, and a lot of times I would miss things, and then I would go back and look at the service and get things from the service and just take notes and stuff. And then it became big because people started coming to the church. And so my thing is, even when I was a little girl and on Saturdays, sometimes we would go out and have our little pamphlets like the Jehovah's Witnesses. We would have the daily bread. Right. we would walk the streets and asking people, do they want to be saved? Do they want to get a life to the Lord? That's where I'm at. Outreach, bringing people in, bringing people in. And so that's just where I'm at with it. I just try to be a light so people could see the difference in me and be an example to younger women. Work hard, put God first in everything you do. Then you put your family, you work hard, your education, do what you need to do for you. Then when a man comes, that will be extra, because you already set everything up, and y'all just work together as a team. So yes. That's what I try to tell women, get out here and get it for yourself. You could do it,
So you speak with women on those issues, or that all well, how will they contact you?
You say, how will they contact me? Oh, well, sometimes I exchange numbers and sometimes I don't. But
do you have an email or Facebook?
Yeah, they follow me on my page and Instagram. But I always tell women, even when you're married and your man is taking care of the household, save that money, because he could get sick. He could have a stroke. Anything could happen. It happened to me when I was married. My husband at the time, he had a stroke. I was devastated because I didn't know what to do. I mean, even though I had the income coming in, I didn't have his income. Right. So you wise, when they give you money and stuff like that, you got to be wise at that, because you just never know what might happen. I also talk about life insurance policies. By me working at the funeral home, I saw a lot of stuff. People that get remarried, they still got their ex-wives on a beneficiary policy. It's just certain things that you should just check into, when relationships happen, because relationships are so important. I was doing a PowerPoint, and it was the PowerPoint was my vision board. So of course you got to have career, health, education, personal, and think something else I forgot. But anywho, when it got to in relationships, when it got to relationships, I had put relationships with family, business relationships, and love life. And so when I looked up the benefits of relationships actually save people's lives, because you have that support. You have they heal you when you're around healthy relationships. They bring
positive energy.
Right, the positive energy. They bring you back to life. They help you create income. You know, they help you far as different resources. That's why it's always good to have relationships in different areas of your life, because you never know who you might need. You never know who you might need. And in different areas of our life is different information.
Yes,
And
you're right.
It will bring either finances, or it will bring knowledge, or it will bring life.
And different age levels or different age brackets in your life, different stages in your life. Yeah, different relationships. Some people come in and I'll stay for a while. There are others you meet, they come in for a while and leave. You know, it is what it is, but you just do with that relationship what needs to be done at that season in your life. So I tell you, this is, we switch from, but then again, it's still about caring.
It
you
is.
know, when you talked about the insurance policies and the funerals and all of that, we must be prepared. Well, look, we have exhausted. No, we have not exhausted really conversation, but we're going to end it. We haven't exhausted it, but we're going to end it. But we still need some information about those funerals and how to, you know, what to do, when to do, because we don't want to wait until it happens before we do something. We really do have to plan. I know this has been somewhat of a lengthy broadcast today, but it was so full of information that will help us, definitely help us personally with caring and the spirit and the gift of hospitality. And again, Kisha, I just want to say thank you so very much for coming and being my guest on today. And I pray and know for a fact that this will be a blessing to many people across the country. And don't forget, at the end of our broadcast, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Though this will be on our Facebook Live, our Facebook pages, you can go back at any time. Once we finish this, I'm downloading and uploading so that we can have this message ready for anyone at any time on our YouTube page. So today, we want you to enjoy the remainder of your day, which is 4th of July. Be safe. COVID is still out there, you all. Wear those masks. Don't forget, if you're going to cough out in public, I mean, do one of these. Don't just, ew, you know. People have to be reminded. I know people have to be reminded. I'm going to leave it at that. Because nowadays, when someone coughs, you know, you want to make sure if they're out in public, but still, really, because we care for family members that when we're out in public and have to go back home and grandmama's there or granddad is there, we don't want to take any issues or health issues back to them. So again, thank you again to our audience. Thank you, Kisha. I do pray God's blessings upon you, that you will be all that God says that you are to be. All right. God bless you, everyone. And we will see you again next month, if not before. Okay. God bless and see you later.
See you.